Hello, hello. Can you hear me? I haven't gone live on YouTube in eons. I see one person. Hey, one person. I'm trying to see. Oh, I see two I see two peoples. Hey, Shauna. Hey, Marjorie. I'm on YouTube. I have not been on YouTube in since some of them videos I got out there. Hey, friend. Friend, where have you been? My stepping friend. Look, you can see my ninja. This is my ninja, and this is my sewing machine on my ninja. I don't normally put stickers on my shit, goody, but I am. Hey, Alyssa. This means we're going to get some nuggets. Yes, I will be doing some nugget sewing today. And I was just like thinking um, about this that I'm sewing, but hey, y'all, please excuse the hair, but I haven't had a haircut in a month and a half, a month and a half, and it's growing. So I'm growing out my style. So I think not this weekend, maybe next weekend. This is gonna come off. I'm gonna get rid of this, and then I'll just kind of have a short. I'll keep a little bit of length in here. I saw Tiana Taylor's hair, and it was really cool. It's just a little bit of length to let them mold it and shape it and curl it. So I'm going back to my all over pixie and getting rid of the undercut. So um, let my hair grow back, but it's gonna be all even. So I've been wearing this hairstyle for quite a while. It's time for a change. Um, can you believe it? I know I don't play no stickers, and I got like a ton of stickers around here. But hey, D, this sticker is on the side, and actually, I forget it's there. So that way I'm not picking at it. So I don't have to worry about, you know, adhesive, and because I'll pick a sticker in a minute. Something very satisfying about picking stickers. So I got a needle in here now, but I do not have fabric samples because this fabric's been sitting so long. So I think I know what I'm gonna do. Now, my last project I did was the pineapple dress. And the pineapple dress was viscose. I didn't hit any pins. So usually if I hit a pin, that'll be a consideration on my needle. Usually with my needles, I'll do two garments, and then after two garments, I get rid of it. But this one is this one might be a 14 needle. Don't you about sticker? No, mm-mm. You're not the only one. I don't like stickers on my sewing machines. All right, I'm gonna change my needle, and I'm going to put in a 12. Is this a 12? Yeah, this is an 80, and this is a 90. So I buy my needles from Walwack, not Walwack, Amazon. I buy them by the hundreds. This is 100 needles. And I buy other needles, you know, uh, some microtex, some embroidery, some stretch, but usually 100. Hey, Shamir, y'all gonna help me get my hours. I need some hours. I have not been on in 100 years, so maybe I'll get some hours. I'm like at 13 and some change, 1300, something like that. I got everything else is met except for this hours thing. Every time when I started YouTube back in 2012, I think it was 2012 when I started YouTube. When I started YouTube, I was doing my little videos and all my little stuff, but then they raised the bar. Every time I would get right to the limit, they'd raise it up and raise it up. It's like putting cereal on top of the refrigerator. How you gonna do that? How you gonna do me? So my fabric I'm using is it's like a janky nylon for the sleeves, and then a nice stretch charmeuse, poly charmeuse for the polka dots. So I'm gonna go ahead and use myself a fresh needle since this one's got a dress underneath its belt. And I don't even know why I do this, but over here my little pin cushion's got needles in it, like I'm gonna save them and use them for something else. I don't do that. They're just there, taking up space. So after so many, hey Tyjeri, Tyjeri got all, she got all hemmed up. You get when you get super hemmed up, that's when you get hot. You be like, Lord, I'm hot. Tyjeri, that hot was from stress. That's all right. You got some stress. Tyjeri was like, I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go. It's hot. And everybody that was online with you, Tyjeri, understand those last two words. It's hot. When it get hot, you gotta go. We ain't playing no more. It's hot. Tyjeri got hot. She figured out where the off button was. Where is the off button? It is actually warm. All right, so I do not have my glasses and I need them. All right, y'all. Sometimes I be forgetting I have this Gucci threader here. Um, and I be forgetting to use it. And there you have it. Should I do it again? I guess. Well, I can't turn my lights off. Otherwise, I would do it. I have my backlight on. So, did you ever get hot and somebody be talking to you? Then all of a sudden they just disappear and you don't see anybody standing in front of you. You used to be hot like this. Then they just be talking. Then all of a sudden they come back into focus and you don't know what they said or you ain't heard nothing. Been there. Done that several times. One time I was in front of my boss and he said to me, he said, you didn't hear a word I said, did you? I said, no, I didn't. I literally wanted to just run out of here and go stand outside. And the girls that were around me, they were dying laughing. I said, no, I didn't hear you. I didn't see you. I didn't hear you. So you have to repeat that for me. Um, because I literally I had an out of body experience. I'll never forget that. I think that was the hottest I ever been. And that hot flash literally felt like I could feel it on my head, just kind of going like this. I could just feel it starting, and I couldn't believe that it was feeling like that. And it just kind of it was almost like somebody was pulling an invisible hot blanket over my head, and it just went all down. I literally was like in a daze. I had to snap out of it. It was awful. That was by far the worst hot flash I've ever had. But now, this postmenopause, these night sweats, I don't have them as bad as I used to, but my night sweats used to be really bad. So, and I've never taken anything for them. Back in the day, I used to take black cohosh, and then I heard black cohosh had all of these issues, so I stopped taking black cohosh. But for the night sweats, I never took anything, but I would literally wake up and my nightgown would be like from here to here would be soaked. And I had so much water on my neck, I could literally just flip it. And it was just the worst. So, um, Keith saw me having a night sweat one time, yanked the blankets off of me. It was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Because he saw all of this wetness on. And then when he snatched the blanket off, I woke up because it got cold. It was cold. Oh, ain't nothing worse than that. That cold right after. Hi, Diane. How you doing? That that cold right after. Oh. The one lady had the steam. She the steam coming off her head. That's what you're going through now. Oh my God, that cold is the worst. It's the worst. And then I got, oh, then he woke me up. Oh, it was awful. So, but we're supposed to have a talk about the aftermath and the aftershocks. So the postmenopause, the bad part of postmenopause is the hot flashes let up, but then there's other problems. So it does not get any better. You didn't take anything from menopause. I did, like I said, I took black cohosh, but that was years ago. Um, but now that I'm in postmenopause, I'm postmenopausal. Um, there's other problems. So so the bullshit doesn't stop, unfortunately. So let me just put that out there. You do feel a little bit better, and your weight starts to flatline. Your weight evens out, but yeah. Um, over the counter and over the counter prescription. I've done a couple of prescription things, but I forget to take them, or like hormone cream is messy. I absolutely hate that stuff. So it works, but it's very messy. So, and then they have pills, and I've never taken the pills because I heard about cancer risk, and there is cancer in my family. Not in my immediate family, but on my mom's side of the family. So I had an uncle who died from colon cancer. My aunt passed away from breast cancer. And my grandmother on my mom's side, she also had cancer. So, you know, it didn't skip a generation because my mom's siblings, three of my mom's siblings had cancer. But, you never know. So I they don't like to put me on it. You do supplements and you're good. Mm. St. John's wort and nightshade works for you. I don't know what nightshade is. So, but for the most part, I'm not on anything. It's pretty much, how you work. You had cancer 25 years. You don't want it coming back. I hear you on that one. So, yeah, just, I try and get some daily in, and You know, I like fast food, but the only fast food I eat really is Chipotle and I like this place called Raymond's. It's a taco spot. But I'm a huge tea drinker, which I need to stop because that sugary tea is the death of me. It just tastes so yummy. I have to make sure here's my sleeves. I have to make sure my iron is on. But yeah, the menopause thing, it ain't no joke. It is no joke, not at all. It's the worst. All right, so I am sewing the lining for my Nancy blazer, and you can see the lining here. This is just the sleeves, and it's just inexpensive nylon, and you can actually see the shine. So it's polyester, like a polyester nylon lining fabric. It was in my stash. I had one piece of it. So I'm like, let me go ahead and use this. So it's been cut forever. So it's been a long time since I've even stitched this kind of fabric. So I don't know. We're going to see how it goes because, like I said, I didn't have any extra fabric. So I'm going to imagine that I tested this before I get rid of the scraps. I don't know. But I'm just using a regular default stitch. And Vicki Sew's patterns have 3/8 inch seam allowance. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Stitching a two-part sleeve. And it's been so long since I made the jacket, I don't even remember if the jacket was a two-part sleeve. So I'm going to just go ahead and say that it is because the lining is. I think it is. I have my walking foot in right now, and usually you use your walking foot for knits. I use my walking foot pretty much for everything, but because this fabric is slippery, I'll use it on this fabric. And my thread is just a hair darker than my fabric, but I'm not going to worry about that because of the wonderful things you know. Da, 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 da. I'm not gonna worry about it because this is the lining, and it is close enough. And I've been starting off really slow lately. My fabric has been getting pushed down into the machine. I don't know if that's my machine or if it's my needle. So when I pay attention, works a little better for me. And these Vicky sew patterns are kind of interesting. Instead of pressing seams open, they have you press seams to the front, to the back, to the side, to the side, to the front, to the back, to the side, to the side. I like to finger wipe my seams to get the wrinkles out. And see those hairies right there? They're driving me batty. So I'm getting ready to pink them off. Like the live. I see I got 10 people and 4 likes. Come on, y'all. Like the live. subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But I think you probably are. But you can subscribe just because I asked you to. I have not been on live. I know when the last time I did a YouTube live was last year for before Chicago Frock Tales. I did a seam finish video, which I thought was a really good video. So if you get a chance to watch that video and you want to learn about different seam finishes, watch that their video. Otherwise, you're going to just dear watch me here on live. Another thing about this pattern that I thought was kind of nice is this is the sleeve lining, but I don't have to ease it. And that's quite a bit of sleeve cap for me not needing to ease, which is kind of strange, but I'm not going to look at ease horse in the mouth. Sleeves are my nemesis, if you did not know. It took me a long time to learn how to put in a sleeve. And I used to sew back in the day, and I still do. Um, I won't put a sleeve on until very last. And I have learned to complete my sleeves before I put them on the garment. So if there's a cuff or a split or anything divvy, anything happened to the sleeve, I'll complete my sleeve. Hey, Risha, I'll complete my sleeve before I attach it to my garment. And that is because, not because I need to, or because, it's because I absolutely hate sleeves. And I thought even after I learned how to do them and got better at it, that I wouldn't feel that way, but no, I still feel that way. And it can be a short sleeve, a long sleeve, it doesn't matter. But sleeves are definitely my nemesis. It probably took me a good probably took me about 2 years to put a sleeve in um, correctly without divvies and problems and issues. So yeah, this is fun. This one is cool. Look at that. It's got let me turn it this way. It's got the curve in the arm already. You can see the curve in the sleeve, which is nice. And this is the way that the sleeve is actually cut. So the curve's already there, which is nice. So you don't have to have darts and things like that. So yeah, sleeves would hem me up something terrible. And I still don't like that part. So a lot of times when I won't follow the instructions, just step by step, I will take my sleeve, finish my sleeve, and then set it aside. And then that gives me my whole garment to get my guts up to attach it. And it doesn't matter. Like I said, it could be a short sleeve, a long sleeve, a sleeve with a cuff. It could be a sleeve with a fox, a sleeve in a box, a sleeve on a plane, a sleeve on a train. I don't like them. So that's a little bit of trivia. What is my nemesis? Now, I didn't say I couldn't do it. I just said I don't like it. And it's actually the attaching. I don't like easing. I don't like none of that. Valerian root. Where does that grow? I don't like them. I don't like cuffs. I don't like anything that has to do with sleeves. I don't mind collars. I don't mind buttons. I don't mind buttonholes. I don't mind narrow hems and baby hems and zipper flies and button flies. But a sleeve, mm-mm. All right, and I'm doing directional sewing. I'm kind of got into a habit of that. And if you don't know what directional sewing is, it's a good habit to get into. So this is a nugget for you. Um, when you pin, we have a tendency to pin according to whether or not we're right-handed or left-handed, right? So your pins usually end up, if you're pinning perpendicular, your pins will usually end up easy for you to pull out, regardless of which direction your garment is flowing. But when you directional sew and you put your pins in the top and then the bottom, what happens is from this area here, we sew down, and the pins are easy. They're on top of the garment, so you can just pull them out. But when you flip it and you go down on this side, your pins are usually underneath or backward, but the head of the pin is still hanging off the edge of the fabric. Or if you're left-handed, the pin is still over here on this side, easy for you to pick. It's just underneath. So there's going to be one time when your pins are underneath, and there's going to be one direction where your pins are on top. But when you do that, keeps everything even. So you don't have this at the top of one side, and then at the bottom you got this at the bottom. So it just makes everything feed evenly, because if you have, it'll put the feed dog on the same side on each pass that you do. So if you're not used to doing that, try and get into the habit. Took me maybe about to get used to doing directional sewing and catching myself if I wasn't doing it. Probably took me about maybe about a year or two to get used to doing it on a regular basis. Now it's become habit, and then I don't have to worry about that unevenness. All right, I'm just pinking these edges because I'm not going to serge this fabric. It's way too finicky, and my serger ain't been playing real nice lately. So I'm not even going to try it. Although for the pineapple dress that I just did, the serger was being very good. And my serger is usually not temperamental. I don't know what got into him, but he was okay. And then the way these seams are pressed up. I don't want to. I don't want no bulk, and I just want to make sure that everything is kind of in order. I just went back and straightened this out. It's just a little higher here. And I know y'all, this is the anal in me right here. Now that you don't have to do. That won't make me itch. But get used to doing directional sewing. It works for the garment and keeps everything nice and even. It also keeps the ripples out of bias seams if you're doing a bias seam or a curved seam, it definitely cuts down on the rippling, on that diagonal rippling that you see, and then press you can actually press it out. We had pizza for dinner today. There's a pizza spot around the way, um, out here. Man, they got the best pizza. Their pizza, the sauce is sweet, and I didn't know how I was going. I'm like, sweet sauce? I had never had sweet sauce, but this one is like obviously sweet. Whenever we buy somebody that pizza, what they say is, "Ooh, that's sweet." That's the best pizza ever. And they've won, uh, it's called Arnello's. They've won several, awards or pizza contests and stuff like that out here in Chicago. Man, it's nice to have a great pizza spot like around the corner. All right, here's the other part of my lining. I been missed the other night. Somebody was on live. I can't remember who was on live. Um, and I got my tailor tacks here. And this is a front piece, I think. This is the front or the back. Oh, this is the back. And it looks like we got about the 5/8 of an inch on the tailor tack. Is that 5/8? Yeah. This is more like a pleat instead of a. It's more like a pleat instead of a dart. Now I got to get the pattern pieces. I'm not sure what goes here. Hmm. It is a pleat. All right, so the text come out. You're a pizza lover. You need to try it. Listen, even people who say, "Well, I don't too much like my tomato sauce sweet," even they like it. That's how good it is. And then the toppings that they put on are really good. The only thing that I don't like is I don't like their pepperoni with that sweet sauce. That's not working for me. And I'm a pepperoni lover. So, yeah. Usually when we get the sweet pizza, it's they have chicken sausage, turkey sausage, and then regular sausage, or regular pork sausage. All of them are good. And I like spinach. Keith likes mushrooms. Mushrooms, I can have them or not have them. Mm, you know, it's not a deal breaker for me, but I'm not gonna have no whole mushroom pizza. All right. So it's more of a tuck than it is a pleat. So um, and I'll put it towards the center. I usually fold pleats toward the center back. It's pretty fabric. And I got the other one here at 5/8 of an inch. Sometimes when I'm doing my sewing and I line things up, I try and get right on the mark. So it does take a little bit of slow. You gotta slow a little, sew a little slower, I guess you can call it. But I find that when I slow up and I hit things on the mark and do what I'm supposed to do, I have less problems with my garment fitting. And you have a whole lot of mishaps, a whole lot of eighth of an inch off, quarter of an inch off. Then you're working into the size of your garment being off. All right, I'm taking the tags out, or the tags out, I should say, the tags. All right. Now we're going to sew the two together, and I put tailor tacks in the top here just so I know where the seam allowance is, because I'm not real good at knowing where the seam allowance is sometimes. Especially like if you have a pleat, there's supposed to be a pleat, so I'll be sewing 3/8 of an inch and then 5/8 of an inch with a question mark, or and then 1 inch. The general rule for tailoring is 1 inch seam allowance on the side seams. And then for a back pleat on a jacket, it's usually stitch the seam allowance and then stitch in 1 inch, down 2 inches, and then you leave it open. So that gives you a pleat with ease, but I'm not sure if that is what they need here on this Vicki Sews jacket. So I just need to double check. And then by the seam allowances being 3/8 of an inch, that's definitely one thing I like. Silhouette patterns are, if you ever made a silhouette pattern, those are all done at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And the silhouette patterns are from Peggy Sagers. Um, she just believes that 5/8 of an inch is a waste of fabric. And I've heard that from other people too. But hey, I don't care. As long as it's cute. And I don't give a shit about the seam allowance. Some people do. I don't. But um, if I am going to draft something, then I will do 1 inch seam allowances on the side, because that's what I was taught. Um, but in my years in the business, doing alterations, it was a pleasant surprise to see 1 inch seam allowances when it came to fixing things or going in and making some changes. Because that 1 inch seam allowance that's there, it's wonderful. When you open up a garment and see those, it's like Christmas. I think that it looks like it's 1 inch when I'm eyeballing. All right, so I'll get the black piece for the center back pleat. Um, Yeah, I see it. The center back line is here. So after I do my sewing, I go in and then I go over and I'm going to baste up. Mm, it's not telling me where to stop. This green line that I have on here. Wait, can you see? Cover up the lamp here. So turn up the lamp now. That green line I have there, that's actually an alteration where I um, shorten the, what did I do? Shorten the back. I took some of the fabric out. So, oh no, I know what I did. I shortened the shoulder here. So when I did the shoulder decrease, it took a little bit of fabric out in this area here. So the jacket fits really nicely. So I'm glad I did that. Um, but for this one, I see my center back line. Let me just match this and see. It's been so long, y'all. I get to check. All right. So looks like I marked the stitch line. Yeah. I thought I marked the center back, but I did not. I marked the pleat. So there is no notch or stop or go line. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop and then do a permanent stitch from the neck up. So I will have a pleat. So I'm going to stop an inch. I'm going to do an inch and a half because my seam allowance is 3/8. So I'll have an inch and an eighth left. I got a red pin right there. So I'll know where to stop. Red means stop. Green means go. So my red pin will tell me to stop. Then I'll back stitch my baster and then I'll do a permanent stitch from here to the end. And that puts my pleat here. And then the pleat where I have my tailor tacks, I'll just pull that baster out. And once I start curving off the curve here in the 5/8, when I the 5/8, I mean not the 5/8, I'm sorry, once the 3/8 stitch is stopped, as I go up to where my tailor tacks are, then I'll stop here and I'll baste the pleat closed. So I'll be able to pull that out and then I will have that ease pleat in the back of my jacket. So on this seam I'm getting ready to do now is going to be a baster and a permanent stitch, a little bit of both. Not sure if you ever did that before. I'm gonna do it now. So the next time you do a blazer, if you see that, you can say, "Hey, Auntie Carol did that." Whether or not it's in the instructions, I don't know. Probably not. So your girl here is just doing what she knows right now. All right, let's do some slow because we don't want to mess up the strap. Ah, oh, got stuck. And I started way too close to the end. Not taking that out either. All right. I got this fabric from Joann a while ago. Um, this fabric is a polycharmeuse, and it's a really nice grade of fabric. Um, I have a black shirt that I made out of it, and I was like, "Ooh, this stuff sews really nice." So I was very pleased with it. All right, now I messed that up. I need to go from here. Yeah. All right. Now I'm back stitching, and I'm gonna turn my baster on. And I'm going to baste the rest of the way up until I get to my red pin. It's here. All right. So let me show you from this side. Here's the curve. I have my regular 3/8 of an inch stitch here. Then here is where I started my back stitch. So I started my back stitch, and this right there, that's a boo-boo because I was following the edge. So what I do when I make a mistake, I think I've said this countless times. Good night, D. Whenever I make a mistake, I don't pick it out. I just go back and restitch, and then I pick it out later. So it gives once I pick it out, I know I'm in good. So here I have my basting stitch here. And so I'm just going to clip that and pull that out. And you can see the back stitch here from my permanent stitch all the way up. So from here all the way in, um, I have my stitch. So what I'm going to do now is just go on this side and do my 3/8 of an inch stitch so that it's closed. I don't, we don't want it open, right? So I'm going to do 3/8 of an inch from the edge. All right, now I'm just going to pick out the bad seam there. I'm going to pink this here, and then this one is done, and then I can work on putting the front to the back. Oh no, this one has like front darts that I have to do. Not darts, but like tucks. And I noticed that in these foreign patterns, the German patterns, the Russian patterns, they don't do regular bust darts like we do. They do like folds right at the bust line. This is what I'm really hurting, y'all. And I need some glasses. So this is what I do. I like to I like to make for illusion, right? And I go like this. See? That's good fun. Friend, you still out there? I can hear you now. You know what? Let me clean my glasses off because I actually need them now. Because I gotta pick this seam out. Go to bed. Not going to bed. You just laugh. Look, don't be laughing at me in my glasses. Don't do it. All right, now it's this middle one I gotta get rid of. All right, now I'm taking my text out. I don't need these anymore. All right, you can see right there. After I press this to one side, then I'll have my nice little pleat there on the back of the jacket. I'm gonna go ahead and pink. What's nice about pink and shears is it does stop show through when you press. It's not super necessary, but uh, it just adds to the finish, to the crispiness, as Tajiri calls it. So when I press my pleat to one side, you won't see the bulk, you won't see the extra because it's pink. Sometimes the oh, that's called thread. Sometimes the serger, although the serge stitches are nice, if you have your serge stitches laying down, you can definitely see those. They will definitely cause iron marks to show through. So if I can avoid the serger, then I will. Um, and then on, especially on a line garment, it's really not necessary to serge the insides of your seam allowances because they're going to be covered anyway. The only time I would pink them is if you're lining a garment and the fabric frays a lot. I would suggest that you pink them because when you line your garment, you have to remember that you have two layers of fabric rubbing together. And then eventually, if it's a fabric that frays, it's going to continue to fray and then it'll cause lumps inside of your jacket. So if you have a fabric that frays a lot, go ahead and pink it. But if it doesn't fray a lot, Don't worry about pink in it. It should be fine. All right. I'm going to go ahead and sew these front pleats. And like I was talking about on the foreign jackets, you can see here foreign jackets. Actually, it's a couple of blouses I've done. The dart goes across the bust, and with us, we do the side of the bust, the side seam, and we put the shape on the side. Um, the European patterns, they like to shape the bust at the front. And like I said, I've had it on a couple of shirts that I've done. Some of the Berta patterns, if you've done Berta patterns, you'll see that on there. So this one I'm getting ready to do. This one has a really small pleat, and it's actually a pleat instead of a dart. All right, we're gonna stop it there. Let me grab my pattern paper here. It's an actual pleat, so I don't like to pick stuff up off the floor. All right, here's the front of the garment here. Right at the bust point, you can see a pleat, and they want you to pleat the fabric and fold it down, and it causes the dart here from the front. And this is the part that gets stitched to the facing inside the jacket. So if you've never seen that before, if you do a Berta pattern and you're going to do a shirt, or if you do a Vicki Sews pattern, which is somebody said that it was a Russian pattern, you'll actually see that. All right, let me take this out. Gotta have my tweezers. Uh-oh, I'm looking at this and it moved. We can't do that, so I'll take this one all the way out. This one moved, and if you can see it, you can see that it moved quite a bit. So we're gonna do that one over. Now we're gonna try this again. This time I'm gonna move it back. This is much better. All right, yeah. This one is like perfect. The other one I need to take out because it's off. And now one thing I won't do is when my darts are off, I gotta fix them because That's something that you can actually feel when your darts are not right. I have my real glasses here. Uh, yeah, this one's got to come out. This one is like really bad. I got some resistance on my blade, on my seam ripper blade, so this seam ripper is dull. So this one will be going in the garbage soon. Not until I've finished this whole project, but this seam ripper is no good anymore. It's giving me too much resistance. So you can hear it popping. And seam rippers are supposed to be smooth cuts. You should just be able to cut right through your garment. Now, I wore my dress yesterday. I did not get any pictures. And when I came home from work, I had literally a massive headache. I had a migraine. I don't know what you guys know, but I suffer from migraines. I had a massive migraine yesterday, and I almost slept in that dress. Keith was like, "Carol, get up and take your dress off." I was literally in the bed with a dress and some stockings. I just came home and got right in the bed. It was debilitating. I could literally hardly walk. I was toppling kind of. My migraines are really, really bad. Yesterday was a bad one, and I ended up waking up at about midnight. I felt better. I ate food because I didn't eat. Watched some sewing videos. I ended up falling back asleep at about 2, and then when I woke up this morning, I felt okay. All the remnants from the migraine were gone. Sometimes they hang around a little bit. It almost feels like there's rocks in my head. Something's moving. I didn't have that this morning, but I did stay home and work at home today. So I am going in tomorrow. I'm going to work tomorrow because I need to. I needed to go today, but I didn't want to play with. Whenever I have the migraines, I take it easy the next day because I don't want them back. All right, here I go with this her dart thingy. Perfect. All right. Here's my pleat here. It's actually a pleat, not a dart, so it's open at the end. And I'm going to fold it down. Actually, if I fold it up, if I fold it up, that even works better. So I need to press it upwards, and that allows the pleat to go in a down position. And it's right at the bust point. So, yeah. Now I'm going to stitch the front and the back together at the shoulders. And after I stitch the front and the back at the shoulders, actually at the shoulders and the side seam, and then I'm going to go over to the iron and press everything and press my seams open, press my darts and my pleats in the direction that they need to go, and then I should be good. Let me do a tigery check. Oh, no, I'm sewing an armhole to the back. That was shade. Tiger, you still there? All right. Got a little bit of ease in the front. The front is a smidge bigger than the back. So I'll be putting the front against the feed dogs to ease that in so it's nice and straight. And let me pin the sides. Oh, nope, that's not right. Is that right? Yeah, it is. I grabbed the wrong part. So if you go to Joanne and you're trying to find something to buy, if you want to buy fabric, a lot of us are trying not to. I haven't been doing a good job at it. Their uh, Casa fabric is now 40% off, and this poly charmeuse or stretch satin charmeuse, it's a good product and it washes up really nicely. So if you got that blouse pattern that's, kind of flimsy and you want to take a chance at it, you can get you some of this. Like I said, I have a black blouse made out of this fabric and it's really nice to sew. It's a little flimsy to control, but it sews well. And I mean by control, I mean by your hand. But once you get it under the sewing machine, it sticks nicely to the sole plate, and it sews really well. It doesn't come apart or doesn't slip and slide normally like these soft fabrics do. So if you're new at sewing with silky fabrics, this is a good one to start with because it'll teach you how to handle it, and uh, you should come out with a successful project when you sew it. But yeah, don't let it being slick on one side fool you, because it actually controls really well. I wouldn't recommend it if I thought that you would have problems with it. So I will not tell anybody to go run out and buy that velvet though, because the real velvet, that's some tough shit to sew. You gotta really have some big girl pants on to sew that stuff. And what I'm talking about is that one that when you go to the store, it's hanging on a hanger with a safety pin. That's the killer velvet. It's got to be pinned and ironed and basted and hemmed. You got to do a whole lot to get that stuff to act right. And you're talking about patience. I think I made two dresses with that stuff, and that was in 2004, and I will not revisit it. Every time I see that stuff, I have a bad feeling. I'm like, ooh. And it just be sitting there like, are you going to buy me? I'm like, hell no. Where's the stretch? Where's your cousin at the stretch velvet? Where your grandmama at Panay velvet? She's cheaper and not a pain in my ass. So yeah, don't buy that stuff. And I bought it for a costume project. Man, I shavits. Ooh, I got 11 likes. Thank you, 11 likes. All right, so I got my whole, I guess, what should I call it? I can't call it a vest. My lining. Okay, I have it all pinned at the sides and at the shoulder seams. And then after I get done, I'm going to take it over to the iron while I procrastinate just a little bit because y'all know the thing that's next is the sleeverinos. You know, like I said earlier, me and sleeves, we don't do too well. We're gonna. I'm putting the front on the feed dog because the front is a little larger than the back, and I want to make sure that it eases in well. Like I had dog it. I'm looking for my stiletto. I don't see it. Oh, here it is. No, it's a seam ripper. Damn it. And I got addicted to sewing with a stiletto, y'all. When I can't find it, it's awful. I don't know what I did with it. It's around here somewhere, but I'll be all right. All right, 3/8 of an inch. I have to remind myself because I've been sold 5/8 of an inch. I don't know how many times I did that to the jacket. I had to start over. I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, I'm fiending. Press the wrong button. Now, with this flimsy fabric, if you have problems with it getting jammed in the stitch hole, what you would want to do is start not so close to the back edge when you're stitching your fabric. So if this is underneath your press or foot and your needle, you don't want to start right here close to the edge. You want to come in and back stitch a bit. You still don't want to be on the edge, and then come all the way through and then complete your seam. Or You can start here, back stitch, come all the way off, and then just turn this the other way and stitch off of the other edge where you missed. And that'll stop you from uh, having your fabric jam in the hole there. But if you, another thing that you can do, if you don't want to do that, is take a piece of like a tissue paper or paper towel and put it underneath the fabric, and that'll stop it from falling in the hole. Just take a piece of thin fabric, paper, lay the paper on the stitch plate right here where my fingers are, right behind the edge, and then you can back stitch onto the paper and then forward stitch all the way off. Then all you got to do is just pull the paper right off. I've done that too, and that works. That definitely will stop the fabric from falling down in the hole, and it works for any type of fabric, not just a silky fabric or a flimsy fabric. It works for mold down knits, which are the real thin knits that are kind of stretch out of shapy knits. Works well for those too. So I don't have any paper available. I mean, I have tissue paper, but I'm not trying to get up and go get it. So I'm just going to stitch off the other end. I have this one here that needs to be restitched. So I'm just going to start in here, back stitch, and then just come all the way off the other end. The other ones are okay. So I'm trying to start a little, I'm sewing a little slow so my fabric didn't get pushed down there. I have my hand underneath. Let me put this down a little bit. I have my hand underneath the fabric and on the second layer. And what this allows me to do is to pull that bottom layer even so that my seam allowances are together. Sometimes the pins will cause the fabric to slip apart, or sometimes it'll work its way apart. This kind of helps you keep control of the layers when you're stitching them. So now you can see I don't have any uneven seam allowances. This one was trying to slip on me, so all I do is I reach under and pull the seam allowance back so that it meets the other one. All right, this is stitched together. Now I am just going to pink the edges, and then I can head over to the iron, and then I'll be ready for the sleeves. I'm not looking forward to. A little piece here that I need to stitch back the other way. All right, I just came off the other end. You guys can see I'm a clipper. I do not wait until after the garment is done to clip my threads because you're bound to miss one when you do that. So get them while they're there, and you don't have to worry about clipping them later. Pink here. Pink at the top. here. Shoulder seams should be pressed. And now I don't always do this, um, but it should be done um, just for shape. Shoulder seams should be pressed on a ham. When I remember, I get my ham out um, because they're like darts. Or well, pretty much are darts. Your shoulders go down, so your seam is at an angle. So um, you shouldn't be pressing your shoulder seams flat. You should be pressing them on a ham or on an angle. Because when you're pressing them flat, guess what you're doing? You're stretching them out of shape. So put that ham underneath those shoulder seams. If you have a knit and you're using a stabilizer on the shoulders, then it's not going to stretch out of shape because that stabilizer is going to stop that stretching. But this one is pretty obvious. This angle on here is pretty obvious. So I will have my ham underneath this. Give the side seam here. Another way that you can tell if the fabric is a good grade, and you can see this poly charmeuse, it's not doing a whole lot of fraying at all, yeah, because it's actually a really decent fabric. It's a little high. It was a little higher price at Joann, but now it's 40% off. Except I didn't see any black. I would have bought more black, but they didn't have any more black at my store. All right, looking good. Let's go to the iron right now. I'm taking you all to the iron. Actually, I don't need that. Changes you've made will not be saved. I don't care. No, I ain't been sewing in a while. Clap off. I said clap off. Anybody ever watch Cooking with Cooking with Flapper and Randall? I love Daddy Randall. He be saying flapper. Either you guys watch them on TikTok. He's Jamaican. Hey, Cynthia. I just now seeing your hey, hey. Uh, all right, side seam is good. Now we gotta do this one. This fabric is actually thin enough to steam. I don't really have to put a whole lot of this is on the ironing here. All right, now I'm doing the front dart and I'm going to press it up so my pleat will be shaping going down. And the other front. Darts go in toward the center back. Good night, Risha. When you press, or not press, but when you sew fabrics or satin or charmeuse, the main thing you need to do is, hey, Sab, the main thing you need to do is make sure that your stitches are even. So when your stitches are even, you don't have a whole lot of that rippling there. So I was able to like press out most of the tightness, but in this area, the stitches are going to come out because the pleat is formed. But where I have the permanent stitches, because satin has a tendency to ripple and show all of the rippling in your seams. In order to keep that from happening when you're sewing on a satin or a shiny fabric, is to make sure that your stitches are nice and even, that your tension works well, and even a good idea might be like if your default stitch is 2.4, maybe you might want to open it up at 2.5. Heavier satins, you could use a ballpoint needle, and that makes everything nice and smooth. So you shouldn't see a whole bunch of ripples and pulling and uneven stitching in the areas where you have satin. And then another thing about satin, a good tool to use is the pink and shear. So these edges were pinked, and you don't see the show through or the impression of the seam allowance on the right side. So those are just a few tricks of sewing with satin fabric, and satin fabric that shows, quote unquote, all of your sewing mistakes and sewing issues. Another thing about satin, when you press it on the wrong side, and then it'll float through on the other side. And then that way you don't have to worry about if the properties of the fabric change. And by that I mean, um, you ever sew a fabric like a linen fabric, and when the heat hits it, it changes colors, or it gets darker because the fabric is heated up. If you press it on the wrong side, then you don't mess with the properties of the fabric. Uh, so when you do a satin, make sure you're pressing on the wrong side of the fabric. All right, so right now I'm just getting the wrinkles out. I'm trying to wait for it to cool. If I wait for it to cool or let it cool good enough, then I won't need to press it again until you know I'm done. And that clapper on it to cool it off a little faster. Clapper absorbs the heat and moisture. Not only does it smash the fabric, but it does cool it off faster. Okay, so I got the lining, the vest part of the lining or the bodice is ready for the sleeves. Then I'll be ready to put it in the actual jacket itself. Okay, so, and then I will not have to press this anymore because I gave it a nice press, put some clapper on it. Like I said, when you have a seam or when you have a fabric, um, if you let it cool before you move it off of the iron or whatever, you won't have a whole bunch of wrinkles. So that's a good thing. All right, we're going back. Oh, wait, I forgot. The sleeves. Told you I ain't like sleeves. So I got my sleeve board out. And I'm trying to think in the uh, instructions. Did we press the sleeve towards the sleeve or toward the bottom? it's pressed toward the top. Usually you can tell by how the seam allowance lands if it's on an angle. So it needs to be pressed toward the top. Ooh, this fabric does not like steam. No, there's the thread. And see what it did? See the ripples right there? So when I press it, I won't be doing no steam on it. And I need to turn my iron down a little bit because the nylon is not liking this hot iron. Give it a few seconds to warm up. To cool off. Not warm up, cool off. Thanks for the likes, everybody. So it's 11 o'clock. I don't remember when I logged on. Doesn't take any time for these irons to cool down. You can see here the difference on the press seam as opposed to here. You can see where the this was it here. You can see here where the fabric got a little wrinkled right here in this area because it did not like the heat from the steam. So I stopped the steam, turned the iron down, and it's working fine now. No steam, no high heat. My gravity feed goes up to 5 for heat. I turned it down to 3, and it's pressing well. It's getting rid of the wrinkles, and it's not shriveling up. I had my iron too hot. So, but literally for this iron to cool off, it's almost immediate. As you can see, I started pressing right away. I'll have to wait a long time for it to cool. Pressing up toward the sleeve. And the reason why I like to pull is I like to make sure that the seam on the right side is nice and flat. So I always give it a pull. So that it doesn't have that little fold underneath there. I hate that little fold. It drives me bananas. right. We are done. And I'm going to put the sleeves on. And put my mouse back in here. I don't know how much time I got left here. Computer says I have 1 hour and 7 minutes. In computer time usually means 15 minutes before my computer dies. Right, turn this to the right side. This one. What I usually do with my sleeves, especially if I'm doing a knit, I'll baste them in first. And the basting, I kind of started basting my sleeves in first because I got so tired of picking the stitches when I was learning how to put them in. I started basting my sleeve in first. And then I would, once it was basted in, if the baster looked good and there was no pucks and bumps and ripples in it, then I would go ahead and stitch it in, and I wouldn't take my basting stitch out. So I've gotten kind of used to basting in sleeves. So my sleeves, I usually baste them first and then sew them. Now, when I'm working on the serger, I'll baste my sleeves in. This is the front. Uh, no, that's not right. I'll baste my sleeves in, and this is the wrong sleeve. I always do that. I'll baste my sleeves in first, and then when I go to the serger, I will use my basting stitch as a guide. I use my basting stitch as a guide, and then I serge close to it. So I'll have a perfect serge seam. Then all I have to do is pull the baster out. Ah, okay. I know what I did wrong. I still had the wrong sleeve. I'm like, I have the wrong sleeve. Okay. Now I got the right sleeve, but I still had the wrong sleeve in. I don't see how I'm going to be able to ease the sleeve in. According to the instructions, you're supposed to just be able to put the sleeve in without easing. Oh, well, wait a minute now. Okay. Maybe I spoke too soon, y'all. I spoke too soon. It is going to fit. I was thinking it wasn't going to fit. I am still going to have to put the blue part up against the feed dogs because it is a little bit larger. But the machine will ease it in. Sabs, how you doing? What time is it over there where you are? Like ungodly o'clock, or is it is it a decent hour over there? Yeah, when I go to London, I'm gonna have tea with Sabs. Tea with Sabs. That's what we gonna call it. Tea with Sabs. Oh, I got 12 people. I bumped down to 10. Now I got 12 and I'm bumped back up. Is anybody new? Make sure you like the live and subscribe. You can subscribe to my live if you ain't already subscribed. So you might already be subscribed. You may not be subscribed. I know what you all can do for me though. If you have not already, I know y'all some regular Douglas. Take a look at some of the videos and crap I got out there so I can get some watch hours. I have maybe a few new things, but it's some old stuff. Take a look at some of them shorts. Them shorts got some good tips on them on my shorts, and all my shorts are nuggets that I drop while I'm sewing, as usual. Look at that, y'all. It fit. Ain't no easing allowed. Remember how I did the shoulders and the sides, had all my pins in and stitched? I'll do that with the sleeves. I do one at a time. I cleaned up my room. I can actually sew. All right. There's a side seam here on my jacket, so I am going to stitch starting at the side seam, and I'll do 3/8 of an inch, which is my seam allowance, and away and around I go. Hand is underneath so I can manipulate the blue fabric. And then I can pull it and straighten out any bumps if I need to. And I do that before it gets under the presser foot. Okay, something stuck here. Pin. This there we go. I have two totally different fabrics here that I'm joining. I just realized that. I have a stretch charmeuse and a nylon without uh, any give. So I'm stretching the polka dot in order to accommodate the nylon, but the machine is still easing in. It's still easing in this really stiff fabric, which is nice. Not stiff, but this fabric absolutely has zero stretch. So the properties of the fabric are really different. And then I just check for buckles and folds, making sure my seam allowances are in the same. Okay, so now everything is good except for this one piece right here. See where that part right there has gotten lower? It slipped. So I'm gonna take that out, slide that fabric up, and then restitch this area. So it just looks like the fabric slipped. So what I'm gonna do is pick, I like to pick away a pretty nice size area that I'll restitch because I want to make sure that it goes in well. So I pick out more than that little area. About right here. Yeah, it folded under there. Take out a little bit more. So the fabric actually got pleated under there. Cut off the other side. And then I just need to reposition this piece. This is pretty big. I need to take out a whole lot more. Oh, more. Now you see why I don't like why I don't like sleeves. So now I'm not going to pick beyond the shoulder seam. I'm not going to pick beyond the shoulder seam because the center of the shoulder seam and let's make sure I'm good here. Yeah, the top of the shoulder seam where my clip is, these match up fine. So this part right here needs to be eased in. I'm gonna try some little clips. I have to keep in mind that my seam allowance is really small. It is quite a bit, y'all. I'm gonna do it though. I can do it. I can do it. here. Quite a bit, but I'm gonna work it. I'm gonna see if I can get it to work. Here I go, y'all. So then y'all know now I might have to pick this out. I'm feeling like this way. All right, y'all. I'm still working it. I don't know what's happening, but it feels okay so far. And them fingers crossed. I got a fold, y'all. One little bitty fold. I'm gonna work that out. That's not bad considering how much. Put a whole lot of extra ease in there. And I'm not going to put an E-stitch in this bad boy. I refuse to. I think if I do one more clip, that should be okay. So a little deeper. And a little deeper. And I'm going to see if I can get these two pieces, if I can get these to fit. I think I got enough stretch there. We're going to see. Nothing. I felt good. Got another fold. I don't like folds, y'all. 'Tis gone. Tis gone. Now all I gotta do is put a little steam on this. Well, actually, no steam. Just press this out, and it'll shrink it just a little bit. And my sleeve is on. The sleeve is on. The sleeve is on. On. You can see it there. This is where the issue was. Always. All right, so that part is on. So now we gotta do sleeve number 2. Halfway there. And after we do sleeve number 2, then I'm gonna call it a night because my computer is about to die. So now I know when I pin this where the issue may come. So I'll be a lot more careful with this one. And then this one will probably go in without any errors or fails. I don't have any music on in the background. And I usually don't have music on. I usually have music on when I'm online. And I don't know, y'all. It really tosses me off. But I knew today I had to put in some sleeves. So y'all get me without music. Thank you for staying up with me tonight and helping me get some of my watch time hours. YouTube is probably rolling over in their grave like, well, goddamn, she is on live tonight. She ain't been on since 2016. And before that, it was last year. So, and I only got on because Carmen asked me to. So, yeah, it has been a minute. I'm going to clip here on the front so the easing is a little better. Let's do one more in the center here. Who's still here? Anybody still woke? I see 10 people. Chime in, let me know y'all still here. Chime in, let me know you're still here. Roll call. Shabooty. 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 Roll call. Shabooty. I'm Carol. Yeah, my name is Carol. Yeah. Is anybody out there? Are you all still woke? I need to know. Last comment I see is Hey Auntie Carol by Sabs. And I still ain't seeing nobody. All right. So on this last sleeve part, and hopefully I can get this in before my PC goes DEAD, and y'all go to sleep. Y'all probably already asleep, but that is okay. I'm still working. one pucker here. Let's see if I can loosen it without pulling it out. Sometimes you can pull the folds out. I don't know about this one. I think this one is not underneath the thread. The thread is going through it. Pulled it out. It's tight. But the rest of the sleeve is in. So that's it. Now I'm just going to press my sleeve. And now it is ready. I'll press the sleeve area. And now it's ready to join the jacket. So here's the jacket. So now I just need to put the jacket inside. And you can see actually the lining here is on the back parts. And then after that, then I can put the buttons on. There's only 4 buttons. 2 on the back and then a double breast on the front. You sewing client stuff? You said you're over it. Oh goodness, I thought y'all was gone. I was like, is anybody still there? Friend, I'm surprised that you up this late. You supposed to be in the bed asleep. So I got the lining done. Now I just gotta stitch it together and across the bottom. That's easy. I can't believe I'm actually finishing this thing. It's been sitting and sitting and sitting. So that'll be joined here. And the facing's already in. So I'm just gonna join the facing. Well, it's gotta be right sides together, of course. And then it'll be all done. I can't wait till it's finished. It's actually very pretty. So I guess I'll do it tomorrow because I need to go to bed. I got a lot of work to do tomorrow at the job, and Fridays are supposed to be easy, but at least I got the lining done. I got it from out from underneath the table the hell freezes over pile, and I'll be wearing a new jacket soon, so I'll just put it on real quick. There's the sleeve. And this is it. It's a double breast. So I'll have the 2 buttons here. One here. Wait a minute. Here's my center front. One here and one here. I got the buttons matched. And when it goes in, the hem turns up. So it's actually a cropped blazer. So that's about where it's going to be. So it's kind of neat because the pants are sailor pants. This is where the sleeves are hemmed. The pants are sailor pants, so you'll be able to see the two rows of buttons on the front, and that's actually why I chose this. And then the back's got welt pockets with flaps on the back, so you'll be able to see all the detail on the pants. So I'm close. I'm super duper close. All right, so I'm gonna take this off. Yeah, the sailor pants are really nice. And I think they're definitely on Instagram, but they're on my TikTok feed. All right, so I'm going to put this away for tomorrow. And yeah, I guess that's it for me for today. I appreciate y'all in the watch hours. And friend, I'm going to go to bed. Friend, good night, my friend. Wait a minute. How do I get rid of this? Oh, there we go. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Drop my clapper. And I will see y'all later before my computer dies. It's just about to fall out. I'm going to plug it back in and let her recharge herself. And that's it. All right. See y'all later. Night, y'all. Okay, I'm like Tiger. How the hell are you in this? Okay, let me see. Is it this one? No. Is it this one? No. No. I'm gonna figure this out, y'all. Top chat, edit, in stream. Ugh. Okay. Good night, y'all.